Hey there everyone, welcome back to the Disc Connected. My name is Ryan and tonight we are in front of my Vinegar Syndrome collection. We're going to be answering some common questions for the Vinegar Syndrome sale that is starting this weekend called the Halfway to Black Friday sale, and I'm going to be giving about 9 suggestions for catalog titles that I think you should be picking up during their sale. So stick around.
Stirring up the white caps in my eyes.
Well, it's the end of May, which means that Vinegar Syndrome's Halfway to Black Friday sale is here, and everybody is always super excited for the sale, and there's always a whole bunch of questions. So let's answer some of those going into this. The main one being, it's 50% off of everything, right? And theoretically, it is 50% off of almost everything. 50% off in this case is of the MSRP. MSRP is the rather high rate that you will see on each of the homepage of the releases for all of the catalog items for Vinegar Syndrome. Most of them are around like $39.99 or $34.99, something like that, where most items come out to being about $15 to $17.50, something like that. Yes, that's not 50% off of the price that you would be paying the rest of the year with Vinegar Syndrome. And the truth is, they can't afford to sell something that they put a ton of work in, scanning the camera negative, buying interviews with people, getting extras made, flying across the country, doing all of this work to the elements, everything that they're doing to give you this high quality release, and then sell it to you for $9 or $11 if it just came out. I mean, that's just not feasible. It's not a good decision that they could stand by. So MSRP is what the 50% off is, and in this case, anything that came out before February of 2021 is what is going to be 50% off, with some caveats. No VSUs, meaning Beastmaster, are going to be 50% off, though we have had a confirmation that there will be a slight discount on it at least. So although Beastmaster will not be getting a 50% off discount, it will be getting a slight discount, and also the staff picks, they never get a discount like that. Those are items that they're selling on behalf of other companies. They don't get any sort of wholesale value on those that they're selling for. They have to make their own money off of those. So those are not discounted. Next big question that comes up around these sales is free shipping. So Vinegar Syndrome disables free shipping during the sale. However, the big thing that draws people to these amazing sales is the fact that they have an option when you're checking out during the sale that says, I have an existing sale order, add my items to that order. So now you can go in once, buy an item, pay for shipping, have that ready to go, and then go back shopping 15 times throughout the weekend and just continue to add and add and add, and all you paid was that original shipping fee. The big secret here that a lot of people don't realize is if you buy their package for the sale before the sale, so when it was available in early April, if you buy that, you are able to get free shipping then because it's not during the sale. And then that's already a sale package. So when you're during the sale, you can just add things to that sale package. So there are ways to have free shipping during the sale. But if you have not pre-ordered the package, you are not able to do that at this point. You are going to have to pay some form of shipping. However, it won't be that much. It is something that you can go in and make 5 orders and only pay for one of those orders at the very beginning, and then add everything to that existing order. It's a super nice system. It makes people spend a lot more money than they would, I'm sure. The rate for shipping during the sale is going to be $10 for priority, and then they also have a $5 economy price. I would go with the $10 priority, get it to you a little bit faster. They are shipping, if you're in the US, from 2 different sites. Remember that. They are shipping out of Colorado and out of their East Coast hubs now. So some people on the West Coast are going to get stuff from there. I know I'm here in Missouri. I've gotten stuff from the Brighton, Colorado area that they're shipping out of now. They last, I believe, since February of 2021. That's where they've been coming from. And it's fairly quick. They've been using FedEx for most of this year, for me at least. I know some people are still getting them from USPS, but it's been pretty good overall. Another thing that people think might happen is that if they had loaded their shopping cart on the Vinegar Syndrome website with 25 items before the site shut down, that when they log back in on Thursday night, Friday morning, whatever, that they will still have those 25 items in their cart. That is not the case. Your cart will be emptied. it just simply does not work like that. And the other major thing that goes along those lines is that if you are going in and you put something in your cart, it is not yours. So you need to actually check out with that item to be sure that you secure it. That is not that important unless you are going for one of the limited titles that is close to selling out. For example, before the site got shut down, I got a list of what the actual stock count was on some of these limited titles that are going out. And let me share some of those with you. Some of the lower ones, Trip with Teacher, that is not getting a reprint. That is part of the Sexploitation series. That is down to 136 copies. The Xtro 3 is down to 293 copies of the slipcover. Luther the Geek is down to 314 copies of the slipcover. Pandemonium, that one is down almost to just 100. It's at 107. I don't even see that one lasting probably 20 minutes into the sale. That will be gone very quickly. That's just for the slipcover. They probably have some standard copies of that available. The next one is Don't Panic. Don't Panic is down to 170 copies of the slipcover. Some of the other ones that are getting low, Beastmaster finally went under 500. That's at 477. Dr. Jekyll's Dungeon of Death, the VSA, is down to 262. We've got some of the partner label releases that are starting to kind of get low. The AGFA release of She-Mob is at 530. There are some that are super old, like Lust in the Dust still has 354 copies of the slipcover. I don't know how, but that one probably will not last past the sale. There's probably going to be some people jumping on that one from FOMO. But that is the bulk of what's going to be happening during this sale. Last time during their Black Friday sale, they had a limited poster that went up during the sale. It was not at the very beginning. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for that and keep coming back to the site throughout the weekend. They are going to be dropping some new merch. They are going to have items available. They've hinted at a new Viewmaster reel like they had in their Black Friday release last year for Silent Madness. There is going to be a lot of good stuff, and if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below, and I will be happy to answer them before this weekend. It's a good time for everybody that's into Vinegar Syndrome. It's a fun thing, and just to make sure that you remember, the releases that we do know for sure are coming this year. We got 6-String Samurai coming in the VSU package, just like the Beastmaster, with this giant box and magnetized with the slipcover and everything on the inside. It's going to be almost exactly the same packaging as that. In fact, I think it's going to be the exact same dimensions and everything for 6-String Samurai. That's a 4K UHD release. We are also getting Surf 2, and that's going to have the never before released director's cut. We're getting the box set for Televised Terror Volume 1. A lot of people hate the art on that box, but I don't absolutely hate it, and I'm really excited for the movies in that one. We're getting the Cardona Collection Volume 1. If you didn't hear, Rene Cardona Jr. actually passed away after they announced his box set and before the sale. He just passed away very recently. And that's only Volume 1. Supposedly we have at least another volume, if not 2 more, coming from him. There are 2 surprise Vinegar Syndrome releases. One of them is a dual 4K release, and the rumors are that one is Scanner Cop and Scanner Cop 2. We are getting 2 new VSA releases. Those are always super nice. We have 4 new catalog slipcovers coming for the old releases. On those ones, if you don't know how this works before, they offer to sell the slipcover by itself or the slipcover and the movie. Usually the slipcover by itself is, I think, $8, and the slipcover and the movie is like $17.50, somewhere around there. And you also have the chance to become a halfway 2021 subscriber if you are not at this point. And for those of you that are not and you're considering it, that will start with July. So if you've not pre-ordered the Halfway to Black Friday package, you will, if you want them, you will need to order those during the sale. But you will not get your first subscriber package until July. And keep in mind, June is going to be a no Vinegar Syndrome release month that is only going to be for partner releases. Alright, and that's all I got for what's coming up during the sale. Like I said, if you have any questions, comment below, and I'll try to help you out before the sale starts. So let's go over some of my suggestions during the sale. For the first one, I'm going to suggest Buddies. A lot of people that have interacted with me online just knew that this one was going to be on my list. Let me show you the back here. This is a very, very dramatic movie about a gentleman that is dying from AIDS, and his person that is sent to him from the Buddies program, who is now his buddy, obviously, and the way that they bond in his final days. The most important part of this movie is just to relate to how the AIDS epidemic was handled in the 1980s, and there's a very touching history behind this movie, and that's the fact that the director actually passed away from AIDS less than a couple years later, and there's some very human elements to this film that I think everybody should be seeing. The next one I'm going to suggest is one that some people online have talked about, but it's still not tossed around enough for what it is, and that is Malibu High. Now, this movie has an incredibly misleading cover. As you can see from it, it looks like a teen sex comedy from the 1980s. This movie is pretty crazy. So this is about a high school senior that moonlights as a prostitute and has some interesting noir aspects to the movie. There's some obvious sexploitation aspects to the movie, but don't want to give too much away on this one. It is a very good movie, and if you're judging it based on this, it's not that type of movie, so I would suggest buying this one during the sale for sure. The next one that I'm going to suggest is the only hardcore movie in my stack, and that is a Climax of Blue Power. This one is one that is certainly not discussed as often as it should be. I don't think there's any nudity down there, but I will show the back. This movie is about a security guard that has always wanted to be a cop, and he essentially pretends to be one for a while and tries to get away with assaulting prostitutes and the like, and happens upon a murder and wants to solve it for himself with his own idea of justice. It is a really good movie. The hardcore scenes that are interlaced throughout the film are tastefully done for the most part. They're not arty or anything, but they are well shot, and it is a good movie overall. The next one I'm going to talk about was one of the mystery titles from the Black Friday sale in recent years, and that is the Candy Snatchers. This movie, the moment I watched it, shot up to one of my favorite releases from Vinegar Syndrome ever. And this movie is crazy. First of all, it goes through tonal changes faster than you can blink sometimes, and it is all over the place, from hilarious to, oh my god, did they really just film that? And it is honestly something you should see to believe. It is a really fantastic movie, and I'm so glad that Vinegar Syndrome was able to show it as much love as they did. There's all kinds of extras on here. I would suggest that you watch some of the behind the scenes. There's some really good interviews about the way that it was made, so give the Candy Snatchers a chance. The next one is one of the older titles in the Vinegar Syndrome catalog, and that is the Australian classic Body Melt. This movie gives the special effects of The Blob a run for its money. This is the slipcover, of course, that is no longer in stock. This movie is great. The best thing about this movie, obviously, is the special effects, but the story is genuinely good. It is about a couple that lives on a cul-de-sac, and people in the cul-de-sac keep dying, and the coroner keeps showing up to investigate, and when that keeps happening, you know, day after day, there's something going on. So they start to investigate one of the vitamin companies, and it goes from there. But this movie is fantastic. It is hilarious, it's disgusting, it is great. Give Body Melt a buy during this sale. Alright, next up is Deadline. This is a Canadian movie. The story revolves around a writer that is slowly going crazy and has some weird hallucinations that are extremely gory. And those interlaced gory scenes in the middle are fantastic. There are some brutal shots that it's like a short story movie interlaced into this long narrative. It is great. This one is a little hard to describe to people, but it is fantastic. Deadline needs a lot more credit than it gets. I would give this one a buy during the sale. Alright, and then the last three that I have here are ones that get a little more credit than the rest in the stack, but they are ones that if you don't have, I would highly suggest buying during the sale. The first one is the classic Christmas Evil. This one I gave a watch with my wife over the recent Christmas during 2020, and it was fitting for the shit-tastic year that we had. This movie is just fun. It is Christmas to the core. It is perfect for that. Just like another one that we're about to talk about in a minute, but this one is fantastic, sadistic, really well shot, and just overall super fun Santa Claus movie. I would give some of your time and hard-earned money for Christmas Evil. Next one is Blood Games. This one, I believe, was also one of the secret titles that were revealed for a halfway to Black Friday sale. In fact, I think this was in 2020 when this one came out. This movie, it looks like, from all of the covers, it looks like a silly baseball movie, and there are baseball scenes, undoubtedly. The movie revolves around a baseball team of females, and it is not really one that I should describe here in a couple sentences. It is a fantastic, action-packed movie that has a couple dashes of some of the rape revenge flicks from the 70s to some of the crazy chase action movies of the 1980s to some of the sexploitation of the 60s. It is fantastic. Give Blood Games a chance if you have never seen it. It is amazing. Genuinely, probably one of the top 10 movies Vinegar Syndrome has ever put out. I think you would enjoy this. And finally is the new Christmas classic that everybody was calling Home Alone before Home Alone existed, and that is the movie with 10 names or whatever. This is Deadly Games, or Dial Code Santa Claus, or Pierre Noel, whatever. This has been called 8 or 10 different things. This is a movie that got a lot of attention last year. It came out on 4K from Vinegar Syndrome, and it looks, first of all, amazing. This movie looks like it was shot last year. It is so beautiful in the way that it's just overall the cinematography for it is something that you gotta really see. This is a movie that takes place in France, and it is in a huge mansion with the kid defending his home to somebody trying to attack him. If that sounds familiar to you at all, this did come out before Home Alone, but it is a great movie. The overall style to the movie is something that is fairly unique. It is crazy what they were able to do with the sets. The biggest thing to look for here is the way that the mansion that this kid lives in looks. It is incredible. It is massive. They are running through it for hours on end. It is incredible. Give this movie a watch. This is Deadly Games, or Dial Code Santa Claus. And that is it for my short list of suggestions during the sale. Most of those are going to range probably around $15 to $17-ish. I believe, all of those are releases from prior years. They will all be 50% off the MSRP, and most of those are still the lower end of titles, so you are not going to be spending a lot, especially for something like Malibu High or Buddies or a Climax of Blue Power. I would highly suggest all 9 of those. If you watch them, please let me know what you thought. Please share some reviews if you got them. This Thursday at midnight, coming into Friday morning, this is when everything goes down. It's an exciting time for Vinegar Syndrome fans across the globe. So once again, this is a channel for collectors just like yourself, from a collector, and all I want to do is share my passion for physical media with all of you. And that's all I have for you tonight, so have a good night. My common suggestions